Hey, Anne Claire, what's up?
I mean, long time no see.
I know, seriously, it's been literally 10 seconds since we recorded our last video.
Right? But we were having a good time. And I'm not sure we even did half the questions.
No, we didn't. I don't think so. But we gotta let the good times roll, you know? We gotta keep it moving. This is Q&A.
You know, I'm kind of curious to know if a new theme is going to come out of the next questions.
What were the themes of the last video, just to recap?
Astrology.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Poems. Being poetic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Booty. No, sorry. That's all my brain registered from the song that you shared. So, you know, that's great memory on my part.
If you grew up in the States, you would know that song.
So no idea what this is, but I will be listening to it.
You've been missing out your entire life. What can I say?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I will check.
It's a good pop culture thing from childhood or middle school for me. High school, maybe? I don't know.
You know, the risk is that the lyrics are going to get stuck in my head. And then we're going to meet up at the end of this month and I'll be singing the song on repeat. So you will be served with my rendition of whatever the song is.
I'm feeling
if it's that catchy.
If I hear that song anywhere, I will start dancing. So it'll just be fun.
Ooh, good to know.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into these questions. Get to know Megan and Claire, part 2. Anne Claire, have you ever had a nickname?
Oh, it's going to sound really boring, but not really. Other than you calling me AC, I don't really have a nickname. I know that you had one, because I remember you answering this question a long time ago. And you were called Megaphone McCabe?
That's one of the many. Yes, I was called Megaphone McCabe at one of my jobs. I was the marketing communications girl in the office. It was a very small little office in Colorado. They had like maybe 100 people in the office, but they had multiple locations, whatever. But they would use me to rally the group during our company-wide meeting every year. They would hand me a megaphone and they would just let me shout orders at people so that they would all get in a group picture together. So I'd be like, move to your right. All right. Look at the camera. You know that.
I'm Smile. Like, not like that.
I wasn't even in the pictures. They're like, we don't need you in the pictures because I was the marketing girl. And then they would also have me make announcements nobody wanted to say. So like if the CEO didn't want to like tell everyone dinner was starting or lunch was starting, I'd be like, hi, everyone. Dinner is served.
Now that's a fun role.
I knew I loved it. I feel so powerful with a microphone. I love public speaking. I love having a loud voice.
Well,
it's like my favorite way to take up space.
It doesn't surprise me. It's a very you thing. It fits the you.
Thank you. It's kind of, yeah. I'll just own it. And then my other nickname was Megasis. Did you know about this?
Oh, I think so. I think you mentioned that.
In college, they called me Megasis. My grandma invented that name, Megasis Pegasus. There's a song.
Okay.
And that was my college nickname out on the town. And I had a symbol. It was a unicorn horn.
Aww.
It was fun. But now it's just my Uber name. So whenever I step into an Uber, people are like, what's your ethnicity? Because they think my name is Megasis. So where are you from? They think I'm like not American. And I go, oh, that is just a nickname. My name is Meg. They think I'm like Greek or something. I don't know.
Well, you could just say that if you didn't want to explain the thing every time.
I could, yeah. Literally the most astute and observational Uber drivers always ask me what my name is from. But I'm like, hate to disappoint you. It's just a nickname that my grandma made up.
Oh, but it's kind of cute though.
It's cute. Yeah, Megasus. Megasus Pegasus. But anyway, you didn't have a nickname?
Not really.
Was I the first one to call you AC?
Basically.
That blows my mind because...
Well, it just doesn't work in French. Like, you don't shorten names in French. Mm-hmm. And in Polish, you don't even have, like, composed names. So, like, names with two halves, right? Because my name is actually Anne Claire. It's not Anne. It's not Claire. It's the both. Like, I have another middle name.
Love that. What's your middle name?
Kathy.
I love it.
So, Kathy is actually my godmother. So that's why that's my middle name. But,
I love it.
So that's very French. And that's literally why my parents picked it. Because to anyone who doesn't know this, I'm actually half French-speaking Belgian, half Polish. And so they decided if we have girls, then they will have a very French-speaking name. If we have boys, they will have very Polish-speaking names, like first names. And so my brother ended up with a very Polish first name and last name. And I ended up with a very French first name and a very Polish last name. Mm. And so in Polish, they don't even call me Anne Claire because that doesn't exist. So they just call me Ania because that's Anna, the Polish way.
Wow. You have so many names then. You just have so many names.
I guess. But so that's the long story to explain why I don't really have a nickname.
Do you know I'm exploring the possibility of hyphenated names now? You've like changed my life.
Oh.
Another form of taking up space, this is a theme, is just naming your child as many names as possible. And so my sister's having a baby and we were like going on and on and on about potential middle names. And I was like, just hyphenate all the names you like. Like you could honor both sides of the family if you hyphenate a name. So I was trying to push that onto her and she wasn't feeling it. But I was like, this is the way to go, obviously.
Obviously.
So if I ever have a kid, I would consider doing it.
I mean, I hope she ends up being called Anne Claire. No pressure.
I might not name my kid Anne Claire, but I'd say, we honoring Anne Claire with the hyphenation.
No, really, you should not call her Anne Claire because then you will confuse so many things in your head and you start like putting expectations on people and that's just not fair. I feel like that's not fair to do to your little kiddos. But it is hilarious because the first time that you suggested like, is AC okay? And I'm like, sounds like I'm being called like the AC in a car, but I'm cool. And I was like, that sounds like a really bad pun, but I'm going to roll with it.
You did not realize that I invented that for you. That just felt like the easiest thing for me to say, I guess. I don't know what happened there, but I like calling you AC sometimes. I actually usually call you Anne Claire, though. Would you say that?
I think so. I don't know. I guess I'm not paying that much attention to how you're addressing me.
Wow.
I just know that I'm talking to you, and that's the most important fact in that moment.
Okay. Duh. I'm just kidding.
No pressure at all.
Okay. So, nickname question. We covered that. Next question. In recovery, how did you stay motivated and keep going?
I mean, at first I quit, which is not a good plan. It sucked. And then I learned that you cannot just be motivated and you kind of have to commit to the thing, even when you don't feel like doing the thing. So after going back and forth a few times, I figured, this is like you do the thing and then you still show up when you just want to still continue changing and healing and whatever. So I will just say that first because I think the lack of vision that we mentioned in last video definitely impacted this, right? Because I didn't have like a thing where I'm like, well, that's worth it, right? So I feel like it was easy for me to just be like, meh, whatever. Because to a big extent, because of the lack of vision and the fact that I was recovering very like on my own a lot, like I had a therapist, but I mean, not many people knew about me struggling and me being in therapy and me trying to shift things internally and with the ways that I was approaching food and my body and exercise and all that. Like, I feel like I could get away with telling myself, like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's just me, right? I'm just impacting myself. So I really struggled with this piece of like just sticking to it. That being said, resting, which is hard for someone who likes digging deep and pushing through and learning that things can be good enough. So moving away from perfectionistic kind of thinking. And taking stock of all the stuff that was good, right? Because even though I didn't have that vision, like it was quite helpful when my therapist started like making me take stock of the accomplished things, of the changes. Because then, even though I didn't know where I was going, I still didn't want to lose what I had acquired, you know? Like, maybe I don't know where I'm going, but this thing that now I have, kind of don't want to lose it anymore. And so that was really helpful, being like, well, 1, you can rest. 2, good enough is good enough. And 3, how about you get very clear on what you're risking if you're letting yourself just be like, I'm not motivated. Like, I don't want to keep going. So that's how I would answer this question.
I love that. Yeah. I think for me, it was a lot of what I said in the first video, which was reminding myself, I'm going to come out of this a stronger person. I'm going to come out of this feeling more wisdom, more life experience. Like, I can't be going through this for nothing, right? It was like, I never questioned whether or not I was going to recover. Interestingly, I like knew that was happening because I had that vision, helping people one day with the same problem, actually. But when I was in it, like the thick of it, and I wasn't connected to the vision, I would say collecting the good feelings. You know, like the little accomplishments, like doing the hard thing and then recognizing, like, even though it was hard, there is a sense of accomplishment. There's a sense of like, it's uncomfortable pride, right? You're like proud of yourself.
Yeah.
You're accomplishing the thing or doing the hard thing. That I really let myself feel into that. And I also felt into how shitty it was to have an eating disorder. And that helped me keep going too. I say this a lot, and it's very specific to the eating disorder I had, but I had anorexia with like a purging subtype. So I always was very much grossed out by it. And I let feeling grossed out motivate me out of the issue too, to be honest. Like, that was very motivating.
Yeah, I mean, then again, like, you know, to a big extent, I do think that it's important to understand our eating disorder and its functions and to be compassionate, but also there's no one way to do things in the whole process. And I feel like anger has a seat at the table and disgust and whatever too, and it's not wrong. It can't cover everything because then like I would be worried about making sure that we're getting to a place that makes sense, but like, you know, that is like stable and grounded and rooted. To me, it makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, it helped me change my behaviors. It didn't help me too much with like deeper stuff, but like I was really motivated to change.
Also, like, let's be real. As long as we pile the things on the side of the balance that tilts towards let's not use a behavior, we're doing well. Like, we're not going to be picky about what we're putting on that side.
Like, I do not want to do this more. Like, I just got to the point where I was like, no. You know? So motivation can come from either direction, from the positive vision, positive feelings to like, I want to move away from.
Oh, yeah.
From that. Okay. Next question. What is your favorite book or a few standouts?
Oh,
it's kind of a hard one.
I don't know. I have too many books. Like, I'm actually looking at some of them and I'm just like, I'm already seeing 5 where I'm like, all of them belong on that list. How am I supposed to choose? Can I choose several, or are you going to tell me off for picking 3+ again?
More than 3.
Okay, so I'm going to say things that like in the last few years really like, I don't know, clicked or whatever. So I'm trying to choose right now. It's really hard. The Invitation by Oraya Mountain Dreamer. There we go. Got it. It's a very short book, and I really, really loved it. I don't know how else to say it. If you've ever read newsletters of mine, or like, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned her in several Instagram posts as well. Like, there's so many like bits and pieces in that little short book that really like resonated with something deep inside of me. Another book that I've recommended so often is Constellations by David Whyte. David Whyte is actually a poet, and it's just that book, out of all of the books that I've read of his, it's just like, basically he takes like words and defines them, but in a very poetic way, obviously. But I find that very, I don't know, it brings up so much. And even like as a coach, it makes me like think of so many things that are applicable for life and recovery and whatever. So that's another book that I really, really liked. And of all the other ones, I don't know which one to pick. So I'm going to actually stop at 2.
Impressive. Thank you for those. Very good.
I'm regretting saying that I'm stopping at 2.
You can add your list.
No. It's just like Michael Singer's The Untethered Soul. I
heard you reference that a lot.
I find that like it's also one that I recommend to clients because I find that it can really, really shift things for many, many people. Like the way that the book is written is, I don't know, there's like this way of like really pressing the right buttons in our soul in a certain way. And so like, it's maybe not the best in its genre or theme, but it's one of the ones that manages to really shift the most for the most. And so I feel like that's why I use it so often and I recommend it so often. So I'm going to stop here.
I love it. Okay.
What about you?
You know, it's hard for me to say because I've actually moved away from, I used to read a ton of personal development books, and now I'm like more into entertaining like genres and stuff like that. Like if we're thinking about books that can help a person through recovery and life, last year I read The Way of Integrity by Martha Beck. And that is a book that if you're not ready for it, you will hate it. I tried to read it. I couldn't read it. I put it down for like 9 months. And then when I was finally able to read it, it was a lovely book. It's about like letting go of the things that are no longer serving you, having the courage to really shake up your life. Like if you're not living from full integrity with like yourself. So that one I could say is a recommendation for everyone here. I also have been reading some Colleen Hoover books. She's like all over the place. I don't know if
I've heard of her, but I've heard such like drastically different opinions about her books that I've not given in.
I started reading them without realizing they were going to become like this big craze. Like last year in Europe, I was reading Colleen Hoover, and that was so fun for me. I enjoyed it. I also sometimes will pick up, oh my gosh, world is ending type books.
Okay.
Do you have a word in your vocabulary that always escapes you? The genre where the world is ending. It's not apocalyptic, it's another one. It's another word for a genre where the world is ending. I love those books. Anyway.
Okay.
So I read the book, not The Martian, Hail Mary Project. And it's the sci-fi nerd alien book, which I don't know where it came from. I could not put that down.
Okay.
And it's just about like saving the planet.
There you go. Why not? Okay, so here's the thing. Now you mentioned fun books. So I feel like I have to mention fun books. I'm not like, I was going to say I'm not a geek or a nerd, but that would be lying. I'm definitely a big book nerd. But I also read, I love, like in terms of like just for fun books, I love like thrillers and crime books and spy novels. And so in case anyone is like into that kind of book, I was going to say last month in January, so not last month, 4 months ago, I read 2 books by Charles Cumming. And one of them was like called Box 88 and the other one Judas 62. And whichever one is the first one in the series I found was better, but both were really nice. So if someone likes those kinds of books, those were fun reads.
I love it. So fun reads are like really important too, you know? And I think when I was younger, I always read books because I was like, improve, be better, read self-improvement, figure out your life, become an entrepreneur. Like I've read so many entrepreneurial personal development books that like it's actually a form of self-care for me to shift into like lighthearted or
I agree. Agree. I fell into that trap not even so long ago again, like 2 years ago or something, when I was, shifting into this new role. And I kept reading like all the time, like reading, watching, listening, everything about like recovery, eating disorders, blah, blah, blah. And that's because I will forever have imposter syndrome. But also I realized I was actually burning out. Like my brain was just fried on information. And I came to the conclusion that I really need to be like boundaried with myself about what kind of book I read when. And so, for example, now I have a very like hard and fast rule, which is at night, I love to read before bed, but I'm not going to read something that has to do with like work or personal development and stuff. I'm going to read a fun book. And yes, by fun, I mean where people die, but like in a, you know what I mean? Like it's a fake story kind of a thing, you know?
It's fictional.
Yeah.
What is the genre where the world is ending?
Dystopian?
Dystopian. Yeah.
But I mean, it's not quite the same as End of the World.
So dystopian, let's get this right. This is so sad. Dystopian future, that's what I like. It's so sad. The definition is relating to or denoting an imagined state or society where there is great suffering.
But yeah, hold on. We're not therapists, and I'm not a positive psychology or happiness, specialist of any kind, especially because I'm actually a little blue moon kind of person, not a yellow sunshine kind of person. That would be you. But I have vague memories of learning about how you can cultivate and nurture happiness and contentment in life by exposing yourself to like negative things and to sad things and to like harder things. And so to an extent, what you're talking about and what I'm talking about kind of makes sense, right? Because if you're reading about this world in which there's like great suffering and like blah, 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 it's like, well, I'm not in that world. So you're cultivating a form of contentment for your current reality.
Right.
In the same way where I'm reading about people being chopped and spies, and I'm like, well, I'm safe at home.
Right.
You know?
That's why so many people love crime like shows and stuff like that too. I think it's like, it is cultivating like more optimistic look on like your life.
I don't know if it's always the case or if it's the full picture, but I'm just kind of using that to reassure myself and you in this case as well.
I also think that it also just matches the stress we feel inside. No, I'm just kidding.
It matches how dark our hearts and our souls are. It is a reflection of our vision for the future.
This is, it just matches our inside at the moment. The stress I'm feeling. I'm kidding. I'm not that stressed, but I always think like, why do people love crime shows so much? And I'm like, it's because they have a lot of anxiety. And when they watch the shows, they just feel like their anxiety is being matched.
Maybe.
I don't even know what we're trying to say right now. We should fly through a few more questions.
Do we have a few more questions?
Let's do quick answers though. So as a kid, what did you want to be when you grow up?
I don't have a short answer to that one. So, okay. I will try, okay? So when I was really, really, really young, like 5 or 6, I wanted to be a nun.
That's so cute. My sister didn't want to be a nun.
I mean, anyways. Then when I was 10, I was reading Freud and Jung. So clearly I wanted to be a therapist. But I never said it that way. And then when I was 13 and we were in high school, we had to write a paper on a job that we were really curious about. And I chose journalism. And then I got very confused about life and I didn't know. And then I ended up picking my studies based on what I thought I should be studying. So totally lost myself after the age of, 13-ish. That's me.
That sounds about right. When I was a kid, what do you want to be when you grew up? I think I wanted to be a singer. Like, there was a part of me that wanted to be like Shania Twain or something like that.
That's so cute. I can see you as Shania Twain.
I wanted to be like a little entertainer, singer kind of a thing. That was definitely the first memory I had. I remember being like, I want to be a country singer. And I don't even like country, but I think I wanted to be like Shania Twain. And I kind of...
sorry.
That was my first CD by Shania Twain.
Oh, wow. You know, I had that CD too. Actually, it was a double CD. I had a blue and red one in the same box.
I don't remember if I had that box. I don't think I had a blue and red CD in there, but that was the first CD I purchased on my own, you know. But as far as other careers, you guys know that, like, I would also want to be a writer on SNL, like, hands down. That is, like, the answer I always give as an adult. Like, if there was an alternative path for me, that would have been a path I would have loved. Comedy, imagine being able to sit in a boardroom or a meeting room with a bunch of comics and then just, like, riff jokes and find, like, really hilarious ideas. Like, I'm an ideas girl and brainstorming things and really out of the box stuff. That level of creativity and like comedy, that seems like one of the best jobs in the world.
Nice.
Really intense, but fun. So, okay, next question. How many pillows do you sleep with? This is by far the most important and revealing question.
So the answer is 1 or 2.
Okay.
Like for real, like,
what
so
position do you sleep in? Are you a side sleeper? Are you a tummy
It changes, and that's the reason that the answer is 1 or 2, because I basically have that thing where it's going to be so peculiar. So my nostrils get, like, every night there is one that is basically out of service. So that impacts how my head can be turned, because obviously if I'm on the side and I'm sleeping on the nostril that is open, then I'm basically going to die, right? Or at least I'm not going to fall asleep because it's going to be really struggle forest for me to breathe. So then I have to decide if I want to be on my back or if I want to be on the other side. But then if the other side is not available because it just doesn't feel right, then I'm on my back, in which case I'm just using the one pillow, which is my head pillow. But then even if I'm on the side, sometimes it feels really nice to have a pillow, you know, that you can sort of like hug and have in between your legs. And so that's why I have the second pillow, which will either be there or it will be next to the bed. So that is why it's 1 or 2.
It's your pillow on standby.
Yeah.
I love it. Wait, I think the most I learned out of that is that you have one nostril that just doesn't want to work at night.
And it's not the same every time. So I can't plan.
Does that mean you snore or like wheeze a little? Like,
no.
Sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe you're asking the wrong person. No, actually, my partner does snore. And I've never been told that I snore on a regular basis. I snore when I'm sick, but I've never been told that I'm a snorer. So,
Well,
but maybe he just doesn't want to pick up a fight. So who knows?
He probably just sleeps so well that he doesn't hear anything.
He's like, I'm in heaven. I'm next to this person. It's just like so amazing. Like, I'm not going to complain about a little tiny cute snore.
That's the right attitude. I like that attitude.
So what about you? How many pillows?
Well, first of all, let's bring it back to a few weeks ago when I said I'm very polite in my dreams.
Uh-huh.
So I haven't had many of those dreams recently, but my politeness is reflected in how I sleep. So I have one pillow and I sleep like a mummy. I just sleep like this on my back the whole night. I don't move. I am like the quintessential rule follower when I sleep. It is sad. It's actually sad. Like the whole taking up space thing has not moved to my dreaming. So I sleep like a little mummy. Whenever I have sleepovers with friends, my friends are like, I'll sleep next to Meg because she doesn't move at all. She is not, there's no issues. She doesn't kick me. She doesn't make any noise. I do talk in my sleep, but essentially I just have, please, excuse me. But I do have one pillow. It needs to be just kind of medium smushy. It doesn't even have to be super, super amazing or like fluffy. It's just like medium fluffiness. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. All right. And then
it's not sad. It's just hilarious to observe where these questions are leading us. I have so many thoughts, but we don't have time.
Yeah. And then finally, do you love or hate roller coasters?
I absolutely love them.
You love them?
I love them.
How many times would you say I love them? Because you said it like 3 or 4 times.
I don't know, but I really like them. And I want to take it next level. I want to do a skydive.
Okay, this is where we're very different. I would never over my dead body do a skydive. That is a big no for me. There's no part of me that wants to do it. I will catch you when you come down to the ground. Or I'll push you off if you want me to.
I was like, count on me to push you off the plane. I will be there for you.
Whichever side of skydiving you want me there, I'll support you. But I could never do that. But roller coasters, I do enjoy them. Do I like the setting of roller coasters, which is usually a theme park? Sort of. I'm not a huge theme park person.
Mm-hmm.
They're fun. They're not my like first option of fun. I like water parks more. Whoa, I just threw a pen.
But you have really good water parks in the US. Like, I remember being in the US and having absolute blast. Because you have like proper slides and like fun stuff. Like, I remember being like a young adult and even like me as a young adult feeling a little bit like of a like little like, like this is a bit stressy.
Water parks are, I think, in my opinion, way more fun than theme parks. I'm a water person. I love being outside and like swimming and stuff like that. So I would do like a water slide above a roller coaster, you know?
Well, I would do a roller coaster and I would just like get rid of all the people anyway in all the parks because I don't like people.
That's the thing. Like, I can't remove roller coasters from the environment. Like, there is something about theme parks that I'm like, they're not relaxing to me.
Yeah. I guess that's why I don't go often, though. Like, I don't even remember the last time I've been on a roller coaster. And I feel like now as a grown-up, I might as well just skydive. You don't have a lot of people. You're just doing it on your own.
It's
like ticks all the boxes.
Very like extreme there. It's like a one big jump, you know, like roller coasters, skydiving.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I get that. If you ever do go skydiving, though, you have to let us know. I have turned down invitations to go skydiving at least twice.
What?
It will never happen.
I really, really want to do it.
I'm pretty risk averse when it comes to my physical safety. Like I'm not a fan of that idea, but bungee jumping would be a no. I can do zip line. That's me zip lining.
Okay. I was like, what is that?
Like
slow-mo tennis. You know what? I remember doing like, you know, the zip lining and like climbing into trees and stuff in Canada. And that was so much fun.
Yeah, that would be like amazing in Canada. I feel like that'd be the best time with the
I did that in British Columbia and it was just so much fun. Like really had one of the best days ever like doing that. So You know what? I'll keep that in mind. I'll invite you to that piece and not the skydiving.
But I will push you out the plane if you want. Like, just call my name. I'll be there. I'll be like, remember what you said on our show.
Oh, by the way, I punctured the the bag on your back.
I'd probably be more scared for you than you're scared for. I'd be like, don't do it. The Recovery Collective needs you. I need you. What about the retreat coming up?
I will do it soon after a retreat in case you need to plan something like a replacement.
No.
I will gift you a book about someone who dies when they do it, just to reassure you.
I'm not reading it.
You know what? That's actually what my partner does. He will watch air crash investigations before taking the plane. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, you're watching, I don't know. That's pushing it. Like, that's really pushing it. I'm not doing that.
People are weird. That's the theme. People are weird. Everyone watching, you are weird.
We are so normal, but all of y'all are weird.
Yeah, embrace your weird. As the B-52s say, let your freak flag fly. That's the theme. That's the theme of these Q&As. Because Anne Claire, she would skydive. That's a little weird. No, just kidding. It's normal. But she has a nostril that doesn't work in. That's weird.
And it's a surprise every night to know which one it is.
It's like, whoa. The element of surprise must really just come over you every night. You're like, oh my God, which nostril is it going to be?
Exactly. It's just it's that little touch of life. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just I know that there will be this little something where I'll be like, ooh, a left.
It reminds you you're living, It's like you're just human.
There we go. But on that note, I am curious. Mm-hmm. If anyone wants to answer any of those questions and share their answer in the comments below, please do that. Mm-hmm. And or if you loved or thought one of our answers was particularly interesting or surprising, I'm curious to know which one that was.
Mm-hmm. I'm so curious. I actually really want to know how many pillows you sleep with. Everybody here, just let us know how many pillows you sleep with.
And how, right? Because if you just say 2, then we don't know what that means.
We want to know what position. We want to know if you snore. We want to know which nostril clogs. We want to know if you're polite when you speak, what you say out loud when you sleep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Yep. Okay. This has been a long video, so we must call it.
We're calling it. Also, this is in case you're not freaked out by who we are. Please join us in the Recovery Collective. The doors are opening or have just opened because it's end of May, and we will be closing the doors again on 1st of June. So don't miss the boat. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, don't miss the boat.
Don't miss the boat. Join us. Yeah. We're all a bunch of weirdos, but I promise we're nice and cool and all that.
Yeah, we would love to have you. Limited time, right? This is a limited time offer. I know that sounds really marketing but it is. And so remember, now is the time. If you've been thinking about it, if you want to work personally, with Anne Claire and I, so it's in person without YouTube, this is your best way to access both of us regularly with a community of people who are probably similar to you if you like this show, because a lot of our Recovery Collective folks love this show too.
Mm-hmm. Just FYI, we will be only reopening the doors in the fall. And in between now and then, you would also be getting access to live workshops with a few amazing humans. Mm-hmm. Did you want to introduce just very briefly who is going to be part of the Recovery Collective in the coming months?
Yes. So we have Danny Bryant, who is a therapist who specializes in therapy for creatives and folks with ADHD. She's also a drama therapist. And she specializes in eating disorders. So if you're a creative or a neurodivergent person who is living with an eating disorder and you want to learn from someone who specializes in those areas, definitely join us. She's going to be presenting on May 12th, I believe. Oh, wait, the doors don't open till the end of May, but you'll get that recording. We also have Mia Finlay coming. We have a surprise guest coming in July. And we also, in August, have Alex Rodriguez, who is a dietitian out in Australia. And then in September, we have Imogen Barnes, who is a content creator who has amazing voice in the recovery space on Instagram. And it's going to just be a fabulous middle to end of 2023.
It will.
Yeah.
So don't miss out, people. If you want to be able to basically have access to Imogen, Alex's, Mia's, Danny's workshops, join us now.
Yes, thank you. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.